Oliver Fisher Winchester, businessman and former lieutenant governor of the state of Connecticut, founded the Winchester Repeating Arms Company in 1857. The company went on to become one of the most successful small arms manufacturers in United States history. Winchester designed and produced some of the most iconic rifles in the world, including the now legendary Model 1873, known as the gun that won the West. The rifle was so popular that the company was struggling to keep up with demand. The huge success of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company enabled Oliver Winchester to accumulate vast sums of wealth. Oliver Winchester died on December 10, 1880 at the age of 70, leaving his company and his vast fortune to his 3 children, son William and daughters Hannah Jane and Anne Rebecca. William took over as president of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. On September 30th, 1862, William Winchester married 23-year-old Sarah Lockwood Pardee. William and Sarah had one child, Annie Pardee Winchester, born on June 15, 1866. Unfortunately, Annie died at the age of 6 weeks. This left Sarah devastated. Then, on March 7, 1881, only 3 months after the death of his father, William Winchester died of tuberculosis. This left Sarah in a state of severe depression, which caused her to spend the rest of her life creating one of the most bizarre and eccentric creations the world has ever seen. In today's episode, we will look into the Winchester Mystery House. Upon the death of her husband and father-in-law, Sarah Winchester became one of the wealthiest women in the world. Sarah inherited an estate worth $20 million, which is equivalent to $530 million in today's money, and she had half ownership of the extremely lucrative Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Still distraught over the deaths of her husband and daughter, Sarah could no longer bear staying in her New Haven, Connecticut home. She spent the next 3 years in Europe, spending much of her time in Paris. Upon returning to her home in New Haven, Sarah tried living in the house she shared with her husband, but staying in the house proved too emotional for her. In an attempt to ease her pain, Sarah enlisted the services of a medium. The medium informed Sarah that the vengeful spirits of the thousands killed by the weapons manufactured by her company were responsible for the deaths of Sarah's daughter Annie, her husband William, and father-in-law Oliver. The medium informed Sarah that those same malicious spirits would soon come after her as well, unless she moved to California and constructed a house for those spirits. Terrified by what the medium had told her, Sarah Winchester moved to California, where she bought a small farmhouse on a 161-acre ranch in San Jose. Sarah Winchester immediately began a construction project on her farmhouse in San Jose. In an attempt to confuse the spirits seeking revenge upon her, carpenters began building a labyrinth of corridors leading to hidden rooms, a maze of hallways winding their way through the house, and stairways in the oddest locations. The size of the construction project continued to grow until eventually a staff of 20 full-time carpenters were hired by Sarah, working full-time in shifts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The construction would go on non-stop for the next 38 years. Sarah believed that if the construction were to ever stop, the vengeful spirits would locate her and she would die. Construction was abruptly halted on the house upon Sarah's death in 1922. Sarah Winchester was 83 years old. The construction project had transformed the modest 8-room farmhouse into a sprawling 24,000 square foot mansion. The structure boasts 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 161 rooms, 6 kitchens, 13 bathrooms, 47 stairways, 52 skylights, 17 chimneys, 3 elevators, and 2 basements. There were never any plans or blueprints used for constructing the house. Sarah Winchester conducted seances every night where she would receive instructions from spirits guiding her on what and where to build next. This resulted in some truly peculiar oddities in the house. One door opens up to an 8-foot drop to the kitchen sink below. Another door opens out to a 15-foot drop above the garden. There is one staircase that runs directly up into a closed ceiling. Of the many skylights in the house, one was built directly into the floor. Soon after Sarah Winchester's death, her house was turned into a museum and is now known as the Winchester Mystery House. The house has become a popular tourist attraction and hosts thousands of visitors each year. Through the years, visitors and staff of the Winchester Mystery House have reported a number of ghostly sightings and experiences. Museum staff have reported seeing the shadowy figure of a man with dark hair wearing overalls pushing a wheelbarrow through the basement. Perhaps he is the spirit of a construction worker diligently continuing his work on the house. A couple named Debbie and Ernie were hired as caretakers of the museum in the 1980s and would spend overnight shifts looking after the house. The couple were interviewed by the local news station. During her first week on the job, Debbie describes feeling the touch of an unseen hand sweep across her head. Ernie would make his rounds through the house every evening, taking the trained guard dog with him. Ernie said that the dog would stop at a particular hallway and would refuse to proceed. After some gentle coaxing and pulling, the dog would reluctantly walk past the hallway. Ernie stated that occasionally he would catch movement out of the corner of his eye, prompting him to turn his flashlight toward the direction, only to find nothing there. Others have seen shadowy figures moving about in the dark corners of the house. Strange orbs of light are sometimes seen floating down hallways. The following security camera footage appears to have captured strange lights moving across the 4th floor window. In 2015, Tim O'Day, public relations coordinator for the Winchester Mystery House, took this photo in front of the mansion. Tim did not notice at the time, but upon examining the picture more closely, he spotted a strange ghostly figure in the second floor window. What could have motivated a wealthy, well-educated woman like Sarah Winchester to construct such an enormous and confusing monument of eccentricity? Was she really being chased by vengeful spirits? Whatever the reason may be, this magnificent building, constructed by Sarah Winchester, has inspired awe and wonderment to over 12 million guests who have visited the mansion since its opening in 1923. Located at 525 South Winchester Boulevard in the city of San Jose, the Winchester Mystery House is open to anyone who would like to visit. Would you like to investigate the mystery of the Winchester House?